All right, we are live. What's up, guys? Chris with Factory Forged. I've got Nicole Marchand. How do you pronounce your last name?
A coin.
Aucoin. You have an awesome husband who I also wish he was on this call. So uh, I love hanging out with your husband. But anyhow, we have got an awesome webinar for you guys today, and I'm most excited to just dig into the nutrition memberships. Nicole, we get a lot of questions about how to make more money in memberships, how to keep and retain clients, and that's really what we're going to lean into today. So for those of you guys out there that have an interest in either starting a online nutrition aspect of your membership, or at a necessity right now, right? We're like fully online all over the world. This could be an extension and maybe a future revenue stream that you don't actually ever shut down. So I'm excited to talk through that.
I think, a lot of gyms right now, we're obviously all going virtual, but this should be a really important retention piece to keep the members that are paying now that you have converted to virtual, adding nutrition coaching. Most importantly, accountability and support to help them find a new normal. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of stuff has changed in your life with a new baby and working from home, Steph having mommy and gym roles. I mean, everyone's kind of, their lives are changing so much, and you have a really cool opportunity to help them find a new normal. And that could be through nutrition coaching and accountability.
Yeah, love it. So how I like to kick all these things off is I want to get to know you and understand kind of your background, what you got interested in, because there's a lot of people that don't know you, and I want them to know you, like you, trust you, and then ultimately all the things that I know, like, and trust about you. So yeah, give us some background, give us an understanding of how you got started, and go from there.
Awesome. Well, my name is Nicole Coin, and I actually started CrossFit at your gym.
I know, right? How awesome is that? What, 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah, so long ago. Seems like,
How
yeah, it's
awesome is that? Yeah.
whirlwind. When I was going to University of Florida to become a dietitian, and moved down to South Florida, started coaching CrossFit, and opened up Healthy Steps Nutrition in 2012 as a nutrition practice. Eventually, we ended up having an office inside of a CrossFit gym, and my husband and I ended up opening up a CrossFit gym. And in the midst of all of that, some gyms found out what we were doing with nutrition and asked me to help them run nutrition in their gyms. So started with a few gyms in Florida, and then that kind of expanded to an affiliate program where we've helped over 600 gyms at this point implement nutrition programs, which is really crazy to think about. And I definitely am not doing it by myself. I have an amazing team from all over the world that helps mentor gyms to help them build nutrition into a bigger part of their business. We look at the fitness pyramid and nutrition's at the bottom, but most gym owners completely skip over that, or they talk about nutrition during a challenge and their people see great results during that challenge, and then they stop talking about it as soon as the challenge is over. And it shouldn't have to be that way. Like, you should be able to confidently talk about nutrition and really provide the full package to help your clients. And that's really our goal.
Cool. Love it. And for those of you guys out there that have never connected with me, my name is Chris Throndike. I run Factory Forge, and the Art of Profitable Gym is our group. Like Nicole, graduated from University of Florida. That's actually how we connected and first met. And believe it or not, your success is just amazing to see how many, businesses that you've worked with. And we were kind of joking before the call where Nicole and I would team up in like lunch and learns and go from like business to business and just try and preach health and nutrition. And it's just really cool to know that all those skills, all those things that you first started morphed into HSN. And between the mentoring, between coaching people, it's cool that I got to see where you started. So yeah, congratulations on the success. So today we're gonna dive into it kind of full circle here, guys. So as we go through this, the intention is to be kind of an open conversation format, but also get you guys involved. So we'll be checking the comments inside Facebook. So make sure stop us at some point. If you got a question, we'll circle back around, and that'll be my job to kind of moderate. And then also we'll kind of guide you through the process of understanding what it's like to not really feel confident or even have an entire understanding of what a nutrition program is, to hopefully getting a full circle, like what it looks like implementing and what it could do for your business. So that's the intention over the next 40 minutes or so. I don't know. We'll go as long as we need to. So the first thing I love about, what your program does is there's a lot of confusion around how do I know that I'm ready for nutrition, and how do you go about getting the owner synced up with your philosophy, let alone, some of their coaches? Because in coaching world, it's like there's so many different ways to do things. How do you bridge that gap? How do you get everybody synced up? Because before you can even start running, a successful program, you have to believe in it. You have to really align with how it works before you're going to confidently promote it and enroll people in it.
Absolutely. Our philosophy at HSN is, something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. And there's so many different diets out there. People are coming to you overwhelmed because they have no idea what diet's best for them. And we should be giving them the simplest plan possible. So, people are confused. They think they know what they're talking about. Like they think they're following macros. They have no idea even what a macro is, right? So you give them numbers and they're even more confused and frustrated because they keep going over on their fat with the eggs and ribeye that they're eating every day, and they don't understand why, because that's protein. Yeah. So, I always talk about nutrition coaching like you would triaging a squat. You're not going to have your client back squat 100 pounds on day one. You'll probably have them squat to a ball or a box. It's the same thing with nutrition. Like you need to assess clients where they're at first, and then triage and focus on more of a habit-based approach. Because, and this happens with challenges all the time, right? People run a challenge and they change every possible thing in 30 days, and then they go back to their old habits on day 31. But if you were to build a habit-based program where you're just getting someone to change one thing at a time, they're seeing success with that, and then adding the next thing to their plate, they're going to be much more successful long-term. And they're going to tell you it's easy. And when clients come back and say, this was too easy, that's what I want to hear. I'm like, awesome. Then you can stick with this forever. But it's when you go from 0 to 100 overnight, they're not going to be able to stick with that. And that's the reason why 80% of people will regain the weight that they worked really hard to lose, because they try to change too much at one time.
I love that, because it not only has to be easy for the gym owner, but also for the client. Because if the client is overly confused, or if there's too much when it comes to content, I work with a lot of owners that are very knowledgeable in this area themselves, but at the same time, delivering that information and understanding how much information, like dose. I love your squat analogy. So it's like making sure we give the right amount of information as the client matures. And I always look at it too as like, that's part of client longevity. You can't just force everything in a week and then they're going to implement it. Like we do have to make sure they do it in a long-term lifestyle, but that's client journey, and that's longevity.
No, I've made so many mistakes in starting my private practice, right? I thought, when you go to school to be a dietitian, you have all this science knowledge, and same thing with coaching, right? Like you take a course and then you have all this science behind you and you want to like spill your beans and make everyone realize you know what you're talking about. When in reality, your clients don't care about that. They want you to help them get from point A to point B. And as a nutrition coach, your job is really just to keep people accountable to what they'll commit to. And that's it. You're building more of a relationship to keep them accountable. When we look at nutrition coaching and when we work with gyms to start implementing nutrition coaching, I don't recommend just doing one-time consults with clients. Build a 12-week program at minimum that clients commit to, so that you have time to build that relationship with them. Because if you're just sitting down with them one time, they're going to think they can do it on their own, and they're not going to realize the value of nutrition coaching, right? And you're going to feel like you have to spill your beans, when in reality, you should just tell them one thing.
I love it. I love it. And let's kind of circle back around too, where you brought this up earlier. Say the owner is very motivated to do, online nutrition. They recognize that fitness and nutrition together are really, a powerful punch for getting someone results. But we also know that we're facilitating a lot of our program through our coaches. How do they get on, the same page? Do you ever experience friction? Like, what are some of the issues, and how do you do that?
1,000%, especially gyms that have been around, like signing up with our program 10 years in, right? Like you have clients that have done every type of diet. You have coaches that are doing online programs, and you have to have a streamlined message, and your coaches need to understand why it's important, right? Like your clients are going to see better results. They're going to stick around longer if they're seeing those results. And it has to be a streamlined message. Going back to, communication, everyone has to be on the same page or your clients are going to get more confused and they're not going to sign up for your nutrition program because everyone's speaking a different language. So, for us, not every coach is a good nutrition coach, right? Like a lot of times gyms come to us and I'm like, okay, when I do free calls with gym owners, the first thing I ask, like, who's going to be running this program for you? Because you cannot wear that hat too. Like empower someone on your staff to be an amazing nutrition coach. And if they don't say like one of their coaches is super passionate about nutrition or has really good follow through, I'm like, all right, let's stop there. Let's think outside the box. Who in your community would be a good fit to help you run the program? Because it doesn't necessarily have to be a coach, right? So
Yeah.
no, when I look at great nutrition coaches, I look for someone that's positive. Like you have to be a bright spot engineer. You have to find success because success leads to motivation. And you also need to look at someone that has really good follow through, right? So nurses and teachers make really amazing nutrition coaches because they're used to like following a bunch of directions and like keeping their clients kind of engaged and following through. With regular coaching, like if you were to coach a class, your class starts at 5 and ends at 6 and you're done, right? Like
Right.
with nutrition coaching, it's 24 hours a day. So if you're not following up with your clients and keeping them accountable, you're not building that relationship and you're not going to keep them around past 12 weeks.
That's a great point to kind of where we're headed, where not every coach is suitable for every role in the business. And what I found over the years is coaches are very much people. And as you pull them more into like administrative roles or communication roles, it does stretch not only skill set and personality. So we know that there's a lot of process to this, right? Like being able to coach someone incrementally through this, there's a lot of steps. And I love that you highlighted that because it may be that one person is able to run this program. Like what have you found, for those people out there trying to visualize what this could look like? What have you found in terms of how many people can one person manage? Like, what does that look like?
I think it really goes into like the systems that you create and how automated your systems are. So with our program, we have coaches managing 30, 40, 50 nutrition clients, no problem. When I talk to gyms that are, starting their own programs from scratch, they tell me 10 clients is like the most they can handle because they're creating everything from scratch and they're spending just as much time behind the scenes as they are forward facing with the client to keep track of their clients and their texting, Facebook messaging, emailing. It's just really tough to keep track of conversations. And then you have to go back through all of those different forms of communication to keep up to speed with where your client's at. So, I think the more automated you have with processes, the easier it is to manage more clients in less time. And if you are creating everything from scratch, like I did, when I first started Healthy Steps Nutrition, I remember like writing on pieces of paper and like giving clients like literally chicken scratch and saying, all right, go ahead, like be well, right? And now it's not like that at all. We give them, folders with more professional stuff, but that stuff takes time. And if you don't have that created and you're creating everything from scratch or creating meal plans from scratch every single time, you're going to be spending so much time behind the scenes that you're not able to manage that many clients out one time.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the bigger issues I've seen where many coaches know and have the knowledge to do it, but it's not in a system that's scalable. And at the end of the day, a lot of coaches out there and owners want consistent revenue. They want to be able to help as many people as possible. But if all of the setup gets in the way, if all the time that you're constantly creating new spreadsheets and documents, you guys aren't going to be able to create the personal income and you'll lead to burnout. So that's one of the best things about this program is you get the benefit of a dietitian, but also you've set it up in a way where it's not only communication, but it's before and after, it's instruction, it lessons. So I think it allows you to use your assets and really to be the best supporter and coach you can because of that structure you set up.
And even if you're not using our program, like you just need to take the time to create all of those things from scratch. So it's a consistent client experience. Cause I learned really quickly when we opened up our gym, our members talk to each other, right? Like even if they're not seeing each other in the gym, like they're still talking to each other virtually right now. So if your clients are talking to each other and you're not providing the same experience for them, they're going to think like, oh, Susie's getting a better, more value for the money that she's paying versus someone else. So, consistency with the client experience is really important. If I go to your 6 a.m. class, it should ideally look very similar to your 6 p.m. class, even if there's two different coaches. So, scaling with one coach is great, but when you have multiple coaches, like we have gyms with 5 nutrition coaches, I know it's going to be the same experience because they're all using the same platform. And I think that's something that you have to think about when you're building a nutrition program, or really any program in general. You want to be able to replicate it for the people that are implementing it, right? So it's a consistent experience, not only for your clients, but also your coaches too.
Love it. And this is a question that pops up a lot where at Forge we talk about the value that you have as a coach and as a program and charging what you're worth. And our pricing is based on an end result we provide. So as long as we can have a proven process and we can get that client to an end result, it's valuable. And for new coaches out there bringing on nutrition, often they'll price themselves too low or they don't have that confidence. So having a program like this can do it. What do you say to those people when they're just starting out? Like, how do they know how to charge and actually earn enough to be profitable?
Yeah. So what we do with gyms when they go through the training process, that's actually the first thing we talk about is like, all right, let's set up pricing and packages. And it's different for gyms based on their membership price, personal training price, all different factors. Like a gym in Kenya charging $50 per month for CrossFit is going to pay or charge something different than a gym in New York charging $200 a month for CrossFit, right? So, looking at your membership pricing, and I look at personal training pricing too, because you really have to think about nutrition coaching as one-on-one, not group. So there's a lot of different factors. Most gyms using our platform will charge between $139 and $179 per month for 3 months, and then it goes down after that. I would recommend doing that 3-month commitment. And you want to tier your prices based on accountability and support, not the type of coaching that your type of nutrition program that you're providing. For instance, if I go to your website and you have a nutrition coaching page and one says macro plan or intermittent fasting plan, your clients are already confused because they don't know what diet is best for them. The best option for you would be to talk about the service that you're providing, nutrition coaching and accountability, and then after you get them signed up, talk about what type of nutrition coaching you're providing them. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. And they're enrolling in the end result. And then the prescription that you're, offering up is, personalized to them after. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's a mistake that I find often with gyms or like nutrition coaches, right? They're like talking about different types of diets and like sign up for this plan or this plan. And your clients have no idea, right? Like what I do when I work with clients before they sign up, I ask them like what worked well for you in the past, and we tier prices based on accountability and support. So for instance, at our HQ location, it's $179 per month to start with nutrition coaching. And that's the standard plan. We're coming in person every 4 weeks. Right now it's not in person, it's virtually. And then there's a higher tier plan that's $229 per month where you're coming in person every 2 weeks. And typically with that plan, it's nutrition only clients, people that are not part of the gym, maybe people that were referred from a doctor or something that want a little bit more support. But if I'm doing a free intro with someone and they're telling me that Weight Watchers worked really well for them because they had all those check-ins, all right, I'm guiding them to the $229 plan because it has more support and accountability built in, and I'm making sure that I'm charging the value of my time, right? Because if they want to increase accountability, I want to be able to provide that, but I also want to make sure that I'm charging appropriately for it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like the reason someone's reaching out to you is because they need help or they're, off track or stuck. And I think a lot of people bring in things that they've done in the past or things that they've read about or heard about. And if we accept that as like their own self-diagnosis, we're never going to be able to provide that level of success because it's not your program. It's not how you do things. So I think you have to get to a certain level of confidence in your own program and how you do it, and then change the mindset or transform that mindset of the prospect into your way of doing it. And that's how I think you build long-term clients. So I love that you look at it that way. Let's kind of talk through putting this thing together. So, we basically said you have to have a philosophy as a team, get everybody on the same page when it comes to your coaching team. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult for you guys to have a uniform front, and that's step one.
So I'm gonna bring up a point to
Yeah.
this. I actually just did a podcast this morning, a podcast recording, and I interviewed a nutrition coach and an owner, and we talked about that, like getting your entire staff on board. And the nutrition coach said, I had all of my coaches go through 1 month of the nutrition coaching program. And I was like, that's a really great idea, because they can see from personal experience. So they can talk about the program because they actually went through it versus just giving them bullet points and saying, here's what it is, right? I mean, at the minimum, you need to have an elevator pitch that's consistent and people need to know exactly what they are getting with the nutrition program. But if your coaches can do it, or you run like a nutrition challenge just for your staff, so everyone could be talking about the same thing and have the same language, it's going to be easier to get all of your members on board because they're all talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah, I love it. And, we know this fits into so many aspects where a lot of CrossFit gyms, if their coaches don't do their programming or they don't take the same supplements, it makes it really hard to promote and enroll the clients. So it's such a necessity in creating this team force. So at the end of the day, it aligns with how do we get our clients the best results. And as a leader, we all have to choose a program that we believe in. And the way you've packaged it, at least you're a great option for people out there, because there's a lot of different ways to do nutrition. And like you're saying, you've got to find the one that aligns with you. And then you got to get your entire team on board if you're going to max out the potential. So next thing, you mentioned where, once you get your team on board, it's about having the system, it's about getting it consistent. And when you do that, you have a lot of confidence in charging a premium price. And that's how I think a lot of owners are thinking about right now is, how do I make sure I set up smart moves inside the business to actually create real income? And I'm not talking about revenue and then it costs the same amount to offer the service and you end up with zero profit. This is an awesome way in many cases for the owners to manage this, or have it completely managed by a team member that's trained, like you're saying, and actually be a healthy profit stream, right? In addition to coaching.
Yeah. So, you look at how you set up pricing and packages, and you want to make sure as an owner, if you have a nutrition coach running the program, you're not giving too much of the pie to that coach. Like, they can build the program underneath, and the more clients they get, the more money they can make. Absolutely. But you want to make sure that you have a percentage. Most of the gyms running our program use the 4/9 model. So 44.4% is what they end up paying the nutrition coach. The gym has money for expenses. Luckily with nutrition coaching, there's not that many expenses, right? Like, you have an InBody, you've had it since I was at your gym, I think, goodness.
Yeah.
Most gyms, have an InBody or some type of tool to measure biometrics that's in-house, because I think that's a really important piece of the puzzle. You want to make it easy to test biometrics. Right now, as we're in a virtual platform, you can get creative with how you're kind of showing people objective data, have them do their own measurements, take pictures, try on their skinny jeans, and write down how they fit each week, right? So you can definitely get some creative ideas of how you're going to track biometrics, but people need to see progress. That success leads to motivation to continue. So you need to be tracking some numbers for sure.
Yeah, you brought up a great point, because right now a lot of people in shifting to virtual are struggling to take a lot of the same processes they had in the physical gym. And you gave two really valuable points. So guys, if you didn't catch that, I actually want you to say that again, where not only do you have to have a way to have the client be able to easily track their before and after, right? That's the whole result that we're trying to get for them. But in this virtual world, storing that data and making sure that it's readily available when that, say, 3-month term comes up. And that's one of the things I think you offer, in your system, right? Is it's all nicely packaged inside the client's profile, and that client can see it. You can see it as a dashboard. So that is key just for delivering the result.
Absolutely. So, before we had the HSN app and had all of our clients in there, we were tracking things through like pieces of paper. Now, obviously, as a virtual platform, you wouldn't be able to do that. Doing it through Google Sheets or Google Docs would be the way. If you weren't using our platform, I would recommend, just so you could see it. But you definitely want a way to track biometrics and be able to see in real time what the changes are, so that you can find those bright spots and get people motivated to continue. And I think also setting some realistic boundaries with people right now, or giving them some grace. Like, so much has changed right now. People are out of their routines. I work with a pro golfer, and we just had a nutrition consult. I don't work with many clients anymore, but one is a pro golfer here, and his whole season is like pushed back right now, right? So like he went from playing golf every single day to now not doing that. He's still staying on track with his nutrition, but we also have to make some adjustments as exercise changes, right? So being kind of mindful with your clients as a moving to a virtual platform, you have to have a streamlined way to communicate with them, or else you are going to find yourself so frustrated with trying to manage every conversation in every single platform, right?
Yeah, I would agree. And that's a huge part of the value, is to have communication with someone that cares, that will guide you, will bring you on track. And if you don't have that centralized, it's going to be hard to scale too. So we've gone through, a couple key points. This is probably going to be one of the bigger ones for a lot of people out there now, is saying, well, it's great that, I understand I got to get my team on board. I understand that I need a scalable system. How the heck do I start helping people? Like, how do I actually get this in play where I can visualize, enrolling someone and actually going through that process? What does that look like?
I think you have a really cool opportunity right now to get a ton of practice, because your clients are looking for individualized support right now, and you do not have to make it super complicated. Like, you shouldn't make it complicated, right? So talking to people about what does success look like to you over the next 2 weeks, the next 4 weeks, and keeping them accountable to that. For some people, it might just be, hey, I need to start eating breakfast because I'm out of my routine, or still prepping some lunch. Like, when we shut our gym down 3 weeks ago, we asked our clients, like, hey, what do you want help with? Every single one of them said nutrition. Yes, we're a really nutrition focused gym, but they're out of their routines right now. So can you ask them what they're going to commit to and keep them accountable to that? So following up with them weekly. I think as a gym, a CrossFit gym, moving virtually, you have two responsibilities right now: individualized support to help people find a new normal, and then community engagement with happy hours, Zoom classes, whatever you're going to do. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a nutrition coach keeping someone accountable to eating vegetables every week, or every day, or drinking enough water, or not having alcohol every single night because you're a little bit stressed, right? Like, could you figure out what success looks like to that person and just keep them accountable to that? That's a great first step on a habit-based approach. And what we did when we started working with clients is I asked them, all right, what's been consistent with you since kind of moving from working at home? Like, let's find a bright spot here. Okay, you're eating breakfast still. Awesome job. Let's continue with that. What's changed? And mostly everyone is like, my kids are home and now I'm a homeschool teacher, which is a little bit stressful, definitely stressful for us today. And then, what barriers do you have? Do you have support at home, right? If they don't have support at home, or don't have a spouse that's working out with them, can you pair them up with an accountability partner in your gym so you could keep them accountable and the coach isn't responsible for all of it? If they're struggling with nighttime eating, could you give them some options or solutions to help them not binge eat at night at the end of the day, and ask them at the end of each week, hey, how'd it go? So they have someone to be accountable to, right? Like, I think this is a really good retention strategy to keep your clients engaged. We closed 3 weeks ago and we have had 2 people cancel. We are up 5 members at this point, like 5 paying members. And the people that canceled lost their job. So I can't, fault them for that, obviously. But the members are looking for individualized support, right? Like, they're looking for someone to keep them accountable and help them find a new normal. And you have a really cool opportunity as a gym owner, especially a CrossFit gym, where you make your own rules with what you're going to do with your business, to start implementing a little bit of nutrition, and then also offering as a whole nother service. So if you didn't change your website yet, that we talked about this yesterday on the phone, but changing your website so that it reflects the services that you're currently providing is a really big deal right now. So like, we changed our website over the weekend, and it took away everything like schedule, like all the CrossFit stuff. Like, we're not offering CrossFit group classes right now. We have Zoom classes that are body weight. Like, anyone could do that, right? So we have virtual nutrition coaching. So we changed our entire website, and we're getting leads. We're getting people signed up because we're accurately describing the services that we're offering. So When you look at a CrossFit gym, you've got group classes, you have personal training, and you have this whole other service that you can be providing, nutrition coaching, and people could do nutrition coaching with personal training. They could do nutrition coaching with group, or they can do nutrition coaching by themselves. And now is a really good opportunity for you to start promoting that and helping with your clients first, and then, branching out to nutrition only clients.
I think the piece that I hear a lot, and being a gym owner, where it can be a grind, and you work long hours, and this is eye-opening for a lot of people to realize the power of virtual. And you can take your business with you anywhere, whether you're traveling, whether you're vacationing. And that's the cool thing about testing. Like you said, this is a perfect time to practice. And you're not going to be perfect, running these things. I was terrible at running group, stuff online at one point, and then you just keep practicing it and you get better at it. But what is important is that this is a business within a business too. And you get to take this wherever. So many of you guys, if you hop in now, you'll get all the practice out while people are giving you that opportunity and grace. And then when you go back to group training in physical location, not only will you celebrate that because that's what you're craving, but you get to take this whole brand new business with you, and that is sustainable. And at the end of the day, like you said, the low barrier in terms of how much cost it takes to run this, many of you guys are going to find that you're going to bump your personal income up substantially. So I love the fact that these meetings are largely controlled by, virtual, because you own your schedule now. And that's one of the flexibility pieces of online nutrition, because you're absolutely right. People crave this type of connection and accountability, but you guys can give it anywhere. And I think that's what a lot of owners want right now, is they're realizing online is really great because you can be at home. You could have PJs on and all business up top, and it doesn't matter because you're anywhere. So I like that part of the virtual meetings, and it's a great touch right now. What about marketing and all this? Like, do they get support with that? A lot of people struggle just to communicate the message, and they're great servicers, they're great supporters, but there's a void in, say, how do I generate leads? How do I create marketing content? Can you talk a little bit about that and how easy it is to launch and actually get clients?
Yeah, so with our program, we definitely give a ton of marketing support. I went through the StoryBrand Guide certification a year and a half ago. Are you familiar with StoryBrand? Yeah, you are.
You mentioned it, but I haven't been through it yet, so I'm intrigued here.
So basically it talks about how to talk about your service to relate to your client's story and be able to help them, right? So most gym owners feel overwhelmed because they have no idea where to start when it comes to building a nutrition program. We are gym owners. I've built nutrition programs, and we can provide a solution for them. So I talk about the client's problem first, or in this case, gym owner's problem. Same thing with your clients. Like, they're overwhelmed because they have no idea where to start when it comes to what diet is right for them, because there's so much options out there, so many different options. So we can cut through the noise and give you a clear plan to take action and keep you accountable to that, so you finally see the results that you're looking for, right? So you talk about a client's problem, you talk about the solution that you provide, and paint a picture of success for them. So all of our marketing collateral follows that kind of streamlined process of, all right, let's explain the problem, let's give them a solution, and let's tell them how easy it is to get started with us, right? So book an appointment, sit down with coach, create your plan, see amazing results, like 3-step process. So with our program, we give nutrition tips, email content, video scripts, all this stuff, so that gym owners don't have to spend any time creating it. At the end of the day, it takes time, and what gym owners don't have right now is any extra time. I think all of us are working more hours than we ever have in the past, just to build a virtual business overnight so that we can keep our businesses afloat, right? So yeah, I think, we obviously push a ton of content. We have 4 full-time people that they work on content for us. So you have a team of people kind of behind the scenes to do it. But even if you're not using our program, your nutrition coach should be putting out content, video scripts, follow people, follow us on Healthy Steps Nutrition, get ideas, get inspiration, so that you can create your own content if you're doing your program from scratch.
Love it. What do you say to the people that don't feel like they have the expertise, or, really the skills? Like, is this program for them? Can they do it? A lot of people are out there that resonate with this and see it, but they don't have that background.
You have to definitely look at the laws, right? So nutrition coaching, like you guys are in Florida with us, you have to, essentially your hands are tied if you're in Florida. You have to have a dietitian involved with your program if you want to charge for nutrition. So there's no way around it. In a lot of states, it's the same way. You have to have a dietitian involved with your program. If you're not in one of those states, then you can charge for nutrition and keep it simple. It's all food, right? Like we eat food. We just need people to understand they need a balance. Like we don't need to complicate it, and we just need to keep them accountable. Like, people think that they have to do crazy things to see really good results, and they really just need consistency of sticking to one thing.
Yeah. It's that easy. And I think, we were talking about this earlier on my call, where it's really easy to just keep building stuff because you don't feel enough or that it's not ready. And when things are simple, they get implemented faster. And believe it or not, when you focus on simple, it ends up connecting with a lot more people. And then before you know it, that's growth. And, for the people out there, I just kind of want to end it this way. It's like, what could they do right now to say, go out and get their first client? What's, a small piece that they could break everything down that we talked about, because we talked about a lot. How could they actually use this information and implement it and say, hey, I want to reach out and get my first client?
So first and foremost, I think you should be practicing on your paying members and just find out where they're at and think of like the squat strategy, right? Like triage, what is the lowest hanging fruit, and practice with those people. They need accountability and support. They need help finding a new normal and keeping them consistent with that. So start there and then just put it out to your social media world, put it out to your past clients. Hey, are you interested in having help with accountability and support to help you find a new normal? Are you overwhelmed because so much stuff has changed right now? Hey, I want to help you and get you back on track, and again, help you find a new normal. I think that phrase is really resonating with people because they really do want that. They need a sense of normalcy right now, working 100% from home, having not going out to eat at all. I mean, people are forced in their kitchens right now. They want easy things that they can do. We did and I think as a gym owner, this is a fun time for you to try new things, right? Like we did a cooking show over the weekend with my daughter and I, and it was awesome. We had a great time. We chatted about 2 recipes that she really likes, and it resonated so much with every family out there because they're like, I got kids at home and I don't know what to cook, and I need simple that's easy and my kids are going to like. So we talked, and it's just put yourself out there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like make video content. And if you've never done a video before, make yourself a little script that you put on a post-it note and with little bullet points, and just tape a video and put it out there. Your video 100 is going to be better than video 1, but video 1 still has to happen to get to be great,
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And, it's too often that we get our clients really great results and then we end up never asking. Yet if you asked, they would gladly, refer people to. So that's great advice. Yeah, one more thing.
Well, no, I think that's an important point that I didn't talk about at all. But your clients have already seen good results, right? Like you have clients that have lost 50 pounds, guaranteed. Could you talk to them and ask them to share their story and talk to all of your members? I mean, they're your biggest advocates right now. Like ask them to share what you guys are doing. Ask them to share the cooking show or the video that you made on healthy eating. Write a blog about healthy eating or healthy tips for kids. That's what we did, and it got shared a bunch of times. So it's just putting content out there that's relevant right now will get you your first client.
Love it. Something they can do right now. All right. So kind of in closing, guys, thanks for joining us. And if there are any follow-up questions in the Art of Profitable Gym, Nicole, you can obviously see those and answer those as well as I. How do they get more information about you? What's the next step if they are interested in learning more about you?
Go to growyournutritionbusiness.com. You can book a free call there, and I'd love to chat with you and just find out more about your gym and see if we can help. There's also a ton of free resources on there. I'm getting so many questions about Zoom right now, like how to use Zoom, how to do a Zoom class. So there's a tutorial on that. There's a ton of free help on the website, but yeah, go there. You can also email me, Nicole@healthystepsnutrition.com, and happy to help.
Cool. Well, thank you for being on. Always awesome hanging with you, and we'll chat soon.
You're doing great things. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks.